Halito, and welcome to Native ChocTalk, a podcast by natives for all. Here we're keeping our Native ancestors' stories and history alive, while also sharing with you our Native culture, traditions, and more. I'm Rachel Youngman, a Choctaw originally from Anadarko, Oklahoma. I hope you'll enjoy this journey with me as we learn from our Native American guests. And I hope you'll do me a favor. Feel free to like and share these episodes. I so appreciate it. Yakuki.
16 days to do from Oklahoma to Pittsburgh, around 1,100 miles. They asked me if I would participate in the torch lighting ceremony, which is just like the Olympics. I imagine I shook 100 hands after that talk, and many of them were diabetics. But to me, diabetes is not a stop sign. To me, it was a go sign. That's when I started my life again.
See and share our stories at togetherwe'remore.com.
Halito, y'all, and welcome back to Native ChocTalk. I'm your host, Rachel Youngman, and today the Bakers Bar Soapery Queen is here. Tiffany Baker, welcome to Native ChocTalk.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
I know we've wanted to do this for a long time, so this is really exciting for me. Now, you're based out of California, correct?
Yes.
And
Yes.
Are you Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma citizen, or are you Oklahoma Clan of California?
So I actually am an enrolled citizen of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma.
Okay.
The Choctaw Clan of California it's a nonprofit to help us stay close to our Choctaw heritage, whether we're Mississippi or Oklahoma. But of course, they're closer to CNO because that's where most of us are from out here in California.
Okay. And you just had your gathering recently,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. It's really funny because it's evolved we've been going since 2006, and it's now we have classes of dressmaking classes and food making classes, and they'll each food making class will like focus on Ponki Walakshi or Tanchi Labona or something like that. It's a really neat thing, and there's dancing and language. There's even language classes. It's really
Oh,
neat.
wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And Chief comes out for that too, doesn't he?
Yeah, him, and then Tribal Council came out this year too. The whole Tribal Council came out this year.
Amazing. I
Yeah,
love that support because y'all are so far away, distance wise, and this is a great way for you to stay connected, I would assume.
absolutely. Yeah, and it's something that we look forward to every year, and it's really really neat because when you are out here, you don't, and it's unless you go to Oklahoma all the time. It's the
Mhm.
one time of year that you get to connect with other Chatas, and just it's a sense of belonging that's just beautiful.
Yeah, I would love to come out there too because there are so many just Choctaws in general out that way. I actually met with one yesterday, did a recording with one yesterday that was also at that gathering.
Oh, cool. The last time that they said that they did a count, I don't know if it was CNO who said it or Oklachata. I think they said there was 50,000 of us out here in
Are
California.
you serious?
Yeah.
That's more than I even thought.
Yeah,
That
that's what I thought too.
right? Oh, you're everywhere. It's just a matter of finding each other, right?
My mama has always said, and she said this for Okies more than, and she said Okies than Chatas, but she said, Oklahoma people, Okies, we always find each other. Somehow whether it's you're from there or your family's from there, you always seem to gravitate towards each other. My mom has always said that.
I believe your mama is a wise woman. I
She is.
believe that 100%.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into what I think is a fascinating ancestral history, tell us about your business, Bakers Bar Soapery.
Thank you for asking. So to do my little elevator pitch so that it's not super long, what I always say is I make artsy fartsy soap lotions and balms that are inspired by my culture and books and history.
You have some soap books. I absolutely love those. Why don't you go ahead and pitch those real quick because I think people will want to hear about that. They're so neat.
So, thank you. So they're called Fairy Tale, and I actually started making them for a native Lumbee in North Carolina. She owned a bookstore, and she was like, "Hey, I saw that you kind of make these," because I had just been advertising them and talking about them. I hadn't really put anything together yet, and
Yeah.
she was like, "Our tribe's thing is kind of like pine trees and pine cones. Could you make me some book soaps to put in my bookshop?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And we
Love
came up with a special color. And so after I did that for her, I was like, you know what? Everybody's been asking me about these. And everyone's like, they're so cute. They're like little fairy tale books. And so I was like, oh, well,
Oh, oh, oh. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
we all love a fairy
Masses
tale.
are
So,
calling.
hmm so we got a really unique fragrance oil called sea salt and sage. And
Okay.
I used that. And then we make them in all the little pastels, the blues, the greens, the purples, and pinks. And it's got gold binding. And it's a labor intensive soap, but it is honestly one of my very favorite soaps to make.
Well, and personally, I'm sure our listeners are kind of mulling this around in their heads too. Anyone that you know that's a book lover, or just for yourself, such a great idea. So,
Yeah.
and by the way, just a sneak peek, I have some of your soaps with me right now. So stay tuned to be able to see more of these in a moment. And by the way, they smell so good. I have three of them sitting here right now, unpackaged, and oh my gosh, my whole room smells good. And I
I'm
think I
sure.
told you before, I don't like buying soaps that don't have fragrance. Like they'll say, "Oh, it's a certain fragrance," and I open it up, I'm smashing it to my nose, and I cannot
Yes.
smell anything.
And I've had a lot of people be like, I can't do fragrances. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But you know what's really funny about our soaps is I don't use the recommended maximum amount. I use the
Okay,
middle. I go like middle to low. I have found that that middle ground is always really good for everybody. And so when we do a fragrance for you one, it's usually for something that's really super focused in on like
yeah,
skincare because not everybody
okay.
can have fragrance. And we do offer our lotions and balms that way too. Same reason, because we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to take care of themselves that way.
I also recommend that people should follow you. I know your website is the bbsoapery.com, but what is your Instagram handle? Because I love the videos you place on there about kind of
Thank you.
educating us about soaps and what they do and things you avoid because you want to make sure it's good for our skins. And I'm a testament. I've been using them for a couple of years now. They're fantastic.
Yay.
So yeah, okay. What's your handle for Instagram?
So it's bakers.bars.soapery on Instagram.
Okay.
And then it's Bakers Bar Soapery on Facebook and TikTok too.
Okay, perfect. I'm so proud, y'all, that a fellow
Thank
Choctaw
you.
Okoyo has built a business from the ground up, and you found big success in what you're doing. And what really makes Baker's Bar Soapery special is the heart behind it. I mean, listeners,
Thank
Tiffany's
you.
work is deeply rooted in her family's legacy, resilience, and connection to the land. There's a lot more to it than just your average soap company. So every bar carries that spirit. It's self-care with the soul, as I say. And we'll talk more about your soaps later in the show and you'll find out how to get 20% off. But if you're itching to check out Tiffany's unique soaps, go to thebbsoapery.com. Okay, I have to tell you, when I first heard about your family's story, it gave me chills. And I'm wearing my sweatshirt today. I got
Oh no,
goosebumps
this is chills.
just
Yes,
for this.
goosebumps.
All right. So starting at the very beginning, your family's roots in Oklahoma go back generations. Can you tell us who your earliest known ancestors in that area were?
So my earliest known ancestors were Ani Scott, her father John, and her two brothers. Her brothers George Washington and then Waukee Morgan.
Okay.
Um, they walked the trail in 1831, but they didn't get there till 1832.
Okay.
And she was 10.
She was 10 when she walked.
Yeah, and her brothers were 6 and 4.
How did they survive that? I mean, you know that it had to been really bad elements out there.
Yeah, and especially because Rachel, they arrived in February of 1832, so they walked in the coldest time of the year.
Oh my goodness. And do you
Yeah.
know where they landed once they got to the area?
So they landed in what's called Old Miller's Courthouse Depot. The courthouse had been burned down, I guess, like in the 1820s. But it was still that area.
Hmm.
And they took the southern route, and it's this little area that's really close to the Texas border. And that's where we found their name, along with all kinds of other Choctaws who had arrived at the same time.
Wow. It's amazing that you were able to find all this. And how did you find it all?
So, uh, to make a very long story short, my cousin Mike was visiting my great aunt Irene in Oklahoma one year. I want to say it was probably 2002 or something, maybe 2003. And she was asking him, and what he knew about our family history. And he was telling her, she goes, "Well, good Lord, son, you're Choctaw. You should know better." And she
Really?
started, yeah. And he was like, "I'm sorry. Like, we had always known that we were Choctaw, but we
Right.
didn't have our we didn't have any of our tribal memberships or anything like that until a little bit later after that." And she inspired him, and she said, "You get on that," because she was enrolled. And she was
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
"You make that right, and you do it for everybody in California." He was in Texas, but she knew that he was really close to all of us, and so she's like, "And you
Yeah.
fix that." And she's the one that started talking about Ani and the walk that they did. And so with Mike being, and my mom's help too, my mom did a lot of it with him. They found it and they did the research. And again, this was a little bit, I mean, it was 2004, 2005 at this point when they
Oh,
started. So it was just starting to be online, but most of it wasn't.
yeah. And you and I were just talking about how people like that had to go digging for stuff without the internet, they were truly the pioneers. We salute you.
Yes, right?
Ancestral genealogists who did that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And do you know much about them when they were back in, I assume, Mississippi?
So that's where our block comes from.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
Ani's
Very
mom,
common.
yeah, Ani's mom was Choctaw. Her dad, we've been told he was, we've been told he wasn't. And from what the little bit I can find about him, he's also another block. His name was John Scott in the 1830s. So that name in of itself, I
Oh
know
my gosh, right.
that that last name is big in Choctaw culture, that last name
Yeah.
Scott, but it's also just a very common name in general. So that he's a block. So it was like when you get to him and to her, there's a whole bunch about her and her brothers.
Hmm.
Um, they're on all kinds of roles and, in Scullyville and things like that. But him, it was like he just kind of disappeared. So
Hmm.
there's even been questions at times from my family if he was their grandfather instead of their
Oh,
father. Because he's just listed with them having the same last name, but he was 50 when he arrived. So that's quite a bit
interesting.
older. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Now Ani is your fourth great grandmother, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so again, our hats off to her. She survived the Trail of Tears with her siblings. What do you know about her journey and her life after settling in Oklahoma?
So this is the other thing I found yesterday that has been so amazing. And
Ooh.
I didn't get a chance to tell you this. But so she was working in Texas, and that's where she met my great great grandfather, William Merriman.
Okay.
And they, I think she was working at the school, kind of teaching at this school, and that's where she met him. And he was working there as well.
Yeah.
And now I think she was 19 when she got married to him. And I didn't know that my cousin had this, but he has her marriage license to William P. Merriman.
Like the actual marriage license?
So that's what I was so excited about. But so he had a friend who is a relative. I say friend, but he's a distant relative of ours because, long story short, our when Ani passed away, William remarried, and he's a part of that part of William's family. He had the copy, or he had the original, but he wouldn't give it to my cousin.
Oh, okay. Wow, but still to have that in your family is
Yes.
that's huge. That's
Yeah.
huge.
So they got married in 1843 in January in Parsons, Texas, which I guess is not Parsons, Texas anymore. I guess it's Travis
Oh,
County.
okay.
Yeah. So to have the actual date, I had just known a year. So when my cousin told me this, I was so excited because I was like, oh my gosh, I'd never seen a marriage license from 18. And Ani is so special in our family to begin with. So
All right.
yeah, so having that, so now I'm like, oh my goodness. And it has their signature and the date they got married and where. And it's a little messy, of course, because it's a copy of a copy of a copy, but I'm
Sure.
so excited to have it. So yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And for people who don't do genealogy, we're honoring our ancestors. So every little single piece we get like that is like gold. I would rather
Mhm.
have that than gold. Give me our
Yes.
ancestral stories and our history and our documents. Yeah. You
Mhm.
and I are so on the same page with this stuff.
Yes, like don't give me jewelry. Just if you can tell me more, like honestly, Rachel, my thing, if I can know more about Ani's mom, That
Oh,
would be, I don't know if there would be anything more that I would want about, anything genealogical.
right.
So yeah.
And so did you mention her did she have a surname?
Scott,
It was
yeah.
Scott. Okay. Okay.
It was Scott. So we don't know. There's been some speculation that she just passed away on the trail. But
Oh, okay.
the interviews that
Yes.
we have had, we didn't have from Ani. It was like from some of her stepbrothers and sisters. And they didn't really talk, of course, about Ani's mom. So there wasn't much to know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, if there are Scots Choctaw people out there, maybe you'll have a little missing piece of the puzzle for Tiffany. So please keep us in mind and reach out to me if you hear anything, and I will make sure I bridge that gap. It's
Yeah.
amazing how occasionally someone will come forward saying they have information for my guests. So fingers
Oh,
crossed.
yes. That would be the greatest.
Yes. So do
Yeah.
you know where Ani was laid to rest?
So this is something that's also really special to my family. I mean, all of this is special, but to me, this
Yes.
is really special. So she's laid to rest in Scullyville in the Choctaw National Cemetery,
Wow.
along with my great great grandfather William, and 10 other of our Merriman family members. So,
Oh, they're all right there.
mhm, yeah,
And I assume you have visited, I know you go to Oklahoma quite often, so
yeah.
have you visited their graves?
Yes, and the first time I went with my husband, and I was so emotional. And it's the picture that I sent you. I had just finished crying.
Oh,
And as you know, we'd been there for about 2 hours, and we cleaned off her resting place just because it was a little dirty and just nothing nobody had done, but just from wear and tear. And
yeah.
he's like, "Honey, do you think it's time to go?" And I said, "Okay." I didn't really want to
I
go,
just
but
live here. Yeah.
yeah. And there was a butterfly that followed us all the way to the gate. You've been there, yes?
Yes, yes.
There was a butterfly that was around us while we were there at her resting place with, my great grandfathers as well, and all of our other family members, just kind of fluttering around. And it followed us all the way to the gate when we left, and then turned around and went back towards our family's area. And I watched it from the gate, and my husband watched it from the gate. And Sean Paul is, he's not frou frou, like as far as like
Yeah,
believing all that stuff, but even he was
right.
like, "Oh my goodness!" Like
Oh
his
my
eyes were
God.
big, my eyes were big. And I started,
Oh my God. Shall we say it? I got
yes,
goosebumps. We got
yes,
goosebumps. Seriously though, oh my gosh.
yeah. It was like I started crying all over again, and I was like, "Should we
Yep.
go back in?" He goes, "No."
It's like I'll never get you out of here.
Yes, he's like, "We have to go," and I said, "Okay."
Here's to
So
our husbands. I don't, it sounds like you've dragged yours to quite a few adventures as well.
yes, yeah.
My husband's been in more graveyards than he wants to be.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny that you should say that because every time we go to Oklahoma, we visit our family in all of their resting places. So we go to Garland and we go to Kyoto, and then this last time, or 2 times ago, me and my oldest son went, and we went to Tamaha and the resting place because that's where most of my family is buried. So
Okay.
that it's something that we just do, and it created a really neat tradition that we do out here. So for now, every Memorial Day, the four of us, my two boys and my husband, we go to all of our family members resting places, and we clean them and put
That's
flowers and
beautiful.
spend some time with them. Yeah.
We'll be back after this quick break. Y'all, I have to show you my new favorite soap from Bakers Bar Soapery. Check out this Yunish, which means buffalo in Choctaw. It's scented with leather fragrance, so I bought one for my husband and one for me too, of course, and it smells so good. This soap is a tribute to the Choctaw and the resilience of the buffalo. Luxury soaps, lotions, and lip balms from Baker's Bar Soapery are 100% Choctaw crafted. And yes, these are made with goat's milk, so they leave your skin feeling soft and supple. So load up on these Choctaw soaps made by Tiffany at Baker's Bar Soapery at thebbsoapery.com. But be sure to get 20% off when you use the code Native ChocTalk, that's all caps, when you spend $25 or more. Treat yourself to the luxury your skin deserves with Baker's Bar Soapery.
You know what's interesting about you said you put flowers on their graves, and by the way, what a wonderful thing to do. I might try to adopt something like that too, about going to Oklahoma specifically during Memorial Day for that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
um, so for years I would go visit certain graves in Oklahoma, trying to just like get a picture of, okay, here's where we are, because a lot of those places, as you know, are out in the middle of nowhere. And
Mm,
some graveyards I've had to find with Google Earth to be able to gather that. And so some of them, the graves are turned over. Some of them, the graveyards themselves are kind of falling apart. There's no one maintaining them. They're so old, and I get it. But one time I went there and there were flowers, fresh, like recently placed plastic flowers on the graves of some of my ancestors. I was like, oh, someone else is visiting these graves. And
yeah.
it's like, who are they? And back then, it was a long time ago. Back then, I wasn't connected as much as I am now with some of those people that are further down the line. And then they're, my line and then their line, but we're still like distant cousins. Eventually,
Yes.
I did find my distant cousin. I eventually want to do an episode that's just about my journey, kind of like what yours is, of
I want
finding
to
all.
hear that. I want to hear
Oh,
that
yes.
journey. Yes.
Oh, oh, thank you, because I can't wait to tell somebody that's actually interested to hear it.
Yes.
Um, but it's my cousin Cheryl, my cousin Carrie, that again, they're distant related, but not that distantly in the whole scheme of things. And Cheryl was the one, eventually I met her years later, and she was the one that's been putting flowers there for years.
Oh, I
Just
got
like,
to meet them. Oh,
yeah, it's so
it's
cool. All these
love.
little connections. Um,
Yeah.
it's the beauty of
Oh,
being Choctaw, right?
so I have a connection story.
Yes, bring it
Okay,
on.
so you've actually met her and interviewed her before. So you have Kim Merriman, Emily Morgan's mom.
Oh, no
So
way.
here's how that happened. So, we're both in the MMIW Chata volunteer chat, and we
Yes.
became friends on Facebook. And during the annual Trail of Tears walk 3 years ago now, or 2 years, I think it was 3 years ago, she posted a picture of my great great of Ani, like not a picture, but of her resting place, because we all have that
What?
picture of her resting place. And I was like, and I had an inkling that she was related to me because her last name is Merriman.
Right.
And so I was like, Miss Kim, that is also my great great grandma. She's like, that's also my great great grandma. And
No way. Oh my God.
so Mary C. Merriman, who is my three times great grandma,
Yeah.
her brother David is Miss Kim's great great grandfather.
Brother David is Miss Kim's great. Okay. That is
So
nuts. And if she hadn't posted that, you would never know. And here you are. Like,
yeah,
don't you know our ancestors are up there in heaven just laughing at this whole thing, going,
probably yes.
they match all together. You don't know it, but
Yes, and we knew we were related to Merrimans. In fact, there was California Merrimans that we saw every year at the Oglatata gathering every year. So she didn't know them, so I remember posting a picture of them, and I was like, Miss Kim, this is our Merriman, our California Merriman, and she was like, oh, I recognize some of them. So it's been such a neat thing to get to connect with her, and
that's
especially I think
amazing.
we're like fifth or sixth cousins removed. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but it's the same as yours. Where like I'm over here and she's over here.
How bizarre. Now, these connections are so cool. We need a
Yes,
whole episode just on people telling their connections,
that would be really fun. Oh, I love
right?
that.
Right.
Yes.
And it would inspire all of us to keep putting information out there. Because if we
Mhm.
do, we'll eventually find something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
so fun. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh,
Anything
you're welcome.
else on Ani?
So for what we just keep finding out, like I said, I didn't know that she worked at a school until yesterday. That was unique to,
Oh,
to, to
now
find
you
out.
have a whole new thing to follow.
Yep, it's like a new lead to go down. So,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
I bugged my cousin because most of my work is online, and I save it online because I
Yeah.
want it to be in one place. Well, he does all of his stuff. He still has stuff on floppy disks, on CDs, and he's like, "Hold on, let me go get this. Hold on, let me go get that." So I'm constantly just poking at him. Yeah,
Yes. Well, and
yeah,
that's something I would like to do a PSA announcement on.
yes.
So ancestry.com, it's really easy for it to get messy on there because if someone has the wrong dates, the wrong information, we can put misinformation out there. It happens. And so because of that, a lot of people are really careful and guarded about their ancestral trees and for other reasons as well. I
Yes.
have a theory, though, that we have to do the best we can. We have to put it out there. And again, this is just my personal opinion. I wish people would start putting all their information that's in desk drawers, in notepads, things like that, put it online and make it an open treat, like make it visible for people to see, because when that person, that gatekeeper who is doing only good things, maybe they're not tech savvy, or maybe they're just trying to truly gatekeep because they're like, this is very secret information for some reason.
Yeah.
When that person passes away, it most likely all goes away. And no disrespect to anyone who's doing it that way, but just an encouragement to think about it. Go to ancestry.com or one of those sites and start plugging in information so that the Tiffany's and the Rachels of the world someday can carry on your hard work and keep it going.
It's
So
funny because between me and my cousin and how he's done it and then how I do it, we're constantly comparing, and I'll
yeah,
find something and then he'll be like, "Oh yeah," he'll have like, I'll find something, Rachel, and then he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I have a little bit more on this in like a file somewhere," and it can make it go even further because with that little
that's
bit of
amazing.
information, yeah, that he had, I can research it even further online. So it's the combination. Yes, please always, if you can, please put it online.
Yes.
Yes.
Please put it online. It'll make it easier for
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
preservation. That's not preservation in your
For
desk drawer,
sure.
preservation for the world.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. That I'm glad you have that companionship in your quest for researching and honoring your ancestors. So
Yeah, he's pretty special. And it's funny, my mom and him, it's kind of like I've taken, like, not my mom's spot, but she and him were
yeah.
like that for 20 years. And so now she's just kind of been like, okay. And I have a cousin out here in California, who has found a lot of our families, like closer family, like my grandfather and my grandmother's information. And he gave me all of that recently when one of my aunts, she moved, and
What
he
a
cleaned out
treasure.
her. He found my grandma's purse, that still had her rain bonnet. My grandma is from Oklahoma. This is my non-Choctaw side, but she's from Oklahoma. She's from Kyoto, and he found her purse and had a rain bonnet, her wallet. Her wallet had a note from me when I was 9, and it said her nephew had passed away. And I said, "Grandma, I'm so sorry that your nephew passed away. Was he related to us? I hope your heart doesn't hurt too long." And
No.
she, yes. And
Oh my gosh.
she kept that in, and I didn't know that my aunt still had my grandma's purse, and so I have
What
that
a
purse. I actually keep
blessing.
it right here underneath my work tote, and so I keep a lot of my little things like that around. So my family's been really good to me, to give me a lot of things too, to take care of.
Yes, yes. And they're giving it to the right person.
Thank you.
Just not like something you're gonna throw out or and isn't it
Yeah.
funny how those things are just more precious than anything? Like no one could pay you enough to take those things from you.
No, especially I'm the second youngest grandchild in the family. And so my grandma passed when I was 12. And so they all knew my grandma for many, 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 many years. So I had
Yeah.
only had a short time with my grandma, and she was precious to me. So having that is amazing. In fact, I actually ordered from Michael's the little display case that keeps
Oh,
it airtight. I'm going to put it in
yep.
that eventually because it was kept in a box for 30 years. So I don't want it to get, the air can do awful
Yes.
things. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. And that since you were pretty young when she passed away, so for you to see that that little note was in there, that had to have meant the world to you.
Oh, and it was the only note she had in there. So it's pretty
Guess
special.
whose favorite grandchild? Just saying.
Just saying.
Just
My cousins are
saying.
like side eyeing me right now.
Yeah, you can't let them hear any of this.
Right?
Sorry about your cousins, but we know the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. By the way, I just have to say again, I'm so excited to talk to somebody that's so into their ancestry like you are.
Same, right back at you.
Oh yeah, we could probably talk for hours. This is going to be like a 20-hour episode. Just, just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, I know they're all like, wait, what?
What? Don't worry, folks. We won't keep you that long.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for part 2 of this series.
Thanks for listening to Native ChocTalk. Be sure to join our community on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and check us out at nativechoctalk.com. Stay tuned for the next episode. You're going to love it. Yakoki. Thank you, my friends.